Hey everybody, it's Tiffany from The Organized Option. I'm here today to talk to you about our 5x7 flip-flap tab divider pockets. But before I do that, I want to mention to you that on our website, on the collections page for flip-flap tab divider pockets, you will find a link to this guide. This is your flip-flap tab divider pocket product grid, and it is going to tell you everything you need to know or give you a quick reference for everything you need to know about flip-flap tab divider pockets. So the 5x6 flip-flap tab divider pockets comes in sets of 10. That's 5 locations. So you're getting 2 sets of 5 for a total of 10. They do have the flap that flips over the top and the locking tab. You can also use them with the flap flipped back if you prefer to leave them open and accessible that way. Okay, what are you going to store in your 5x7 flip-flap tab divider pockets? All kinds of wonderful things. So embellishments store great in there. You can see I just have this loaded with flowers. One of the nice things about these pockets is because they're clear, you can see things on both sides. So feel free to pack them with things facing forward and backward. Other kinds of embellishments work great as well. So I have these frames and tags that coordinate. I put them all into the pocket. It bulks it out a little bit, but nothing's going anywhere, which is nice about these pockets with that flip flap there. You know, I love to organize in that 4-section system. So if you are following along with the 4-section system, this would be green embellishments in the green section, right? So I've got bling and buttons, and if I flip it over, I've got tags, and I've got some fancy paper clips there. So great for embellishment storage. These are the self-adhesive pockets that you can either store mementos in, right? Little tufts of hair and baby books, or you can line them up to create kind of a little flip flap thing in your pages or in your cards or other, you know, anywhere else that you might want to create some sort of motion. But because they're clear, they disappear, they get damaged, you forget you have them. So throwing them into a pocket, and I've got 3 different sizes in this pocket, but throwing them into a pocket is going to make it really easy to find them and know where they are and then use them. Of course, ephemera, again, by style, by type, by brand, however you want to categorize that, you're going to love it in the pockets. Again, you know, I've got two different types in here, right? This kind of a old school, what I call antique or like heritage look. And then on the back, something that's a little bit more hip and girly on the back. But I can see both collections just by flipping that over. So that works great for ephemera. Of course, it's going to be ideal for dies and stamps. So I've got 5x7 magnet in here. I've got the stamp set and the dies. So really kind of a big win on that as well. Things like Project Life cards fit in there really nicely. Now, this particular Project Life kit has this oversized embossing folder that matches everything, which is why normally I would put the Project Lifestyle things in a 4x6 pocket, but because I wanted to keep things together, I put that embossing folder in there. I needed a little bit bigger pocket for that. If you love to use templates like the Kiwi Lane brand of template, this is a great way to sort, organize, and store those smaller collections of Kiwi Lane templates as well. These little small embossing folders, right? They get lost, misplaced. You don't use them. They're hard to find. I use the packaging on them, so I know, well, you can see in this one, it's difficult to know what that is. I didn't save the packaging. It's a crown. But now I can just put all of these into this one pocket. I've got the little labels on them so I can see them. I could label a pocket. These are birthday themed embossing folders. Queen of the birthday, I guess, is that one. But just a great way to start. Think of all the little things that you lose track of, right? It's a great way to combine and conquer those. So again, I've got a 5x7 magnet in here. I've got this big set of dies, and then I pre-cut all these pieces. I'm going to make a bunch of these 4th of July cards. All the pieces are pre-cut. Look how thick that is. And I've got all of it in that pocket. So when you are, you know, working on a particular project, having all those pieces together is very handy. And so it's the pockets are great for that as well. So I'm going to gather these up. Now that you've got all of your things organized in your nice, neat pockets, how are you going to store the pockets? Well, the 5x7, there are multiple ways you can store our 5x7 flip-flap pockets. So if we start with just kind of the basics here with what the basic boxes that hold the 5x7 pockets come in 2 sizes. Now, this is when this is going to be very helpful for you to have the printed flip-flap pocket, because you can look at 5x7, go across to the edge that says companion products, and it's going to tell you right there, there's going to fit in box B and box N. So you know exactly which boxes you need to purchase if you want to store your basic boxes in this sort of open format. Why do you choose one height over the other? It just depends where you're storing them, how you're connecting them together, and what your space allows. So you need something a little lower in profile, higher in profile. These are great in craft carts and organizing your craft carts. Of course, they're ideal for storing things on the shelves as well. There's so many great ways to use the basic boxes, and they work best for people who want that open, accessible storage all the time, right? There's nothing to unzip. There's nothing to open. There's none of that. It's just very simple on the shelf, in the cart, easy access. Now, you may not always want to store them this way, right? But if you're using these boxes in the cart and you're setting up your cart or your desktop, right, for a particular project, then clipping a couple of these boxes together is a great way to keep your desktop organized, have that open, accessible storage. And then maybe where you're really going to store those things is in the 5x7 file master, which is going to come preloaded with 5. It'll hold up to 25 or 30, depending on how fully loaded they are. But again, if you want to lock it down, if you live somewhere dusty, if you want to be able to travel with them and just keep everything secure, basic boxes file masters are awesome for that, because you can tip them upside down, nothing's going to spill out. So the 5x7 file master is a great option. For those of you who love the zip and go bag, you are going to absolutely love the Karen zip and go bag for holding those. You got that nice visible access. You have the slanted sides. You have the double zipper, big label. So the 5x7 Karen, or the Karen, which holds 5x7, is perfect for that as well. And then last but not least, we have our 5x7 tag along tote. Now it comes with the divider box on the inside, but you don't have to use it. It is also going to be perfect for your 5x7 flip-flap tab divider pocket. So depending on where you craft, how you craft, do you move around, what do you like your room to look like, do you have a cart, do you have shelves, you are going to be able to find the perfect solution for 5x7 storage using our 5x7 flip-flap tab divider pockets, and one of the many options that we have for storing those pockets when they're loaded. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope I answered all your questions.